said. I've never seen anything like this.
Hail, hero.
Is that a frog in a bubble? Oh gosh, they are so cute. Well then, there's so many friendly people here. Coming through. Love the hair.
Oh, the cavalry's here.
This place is awesome! I found some Vikings! Wow, you're big! The name's Tracer, and the Nexus could always use more heroes. Ah! Not funny!
Stitches what shame. Stitches what playtime. Stitches play too rough. No one play with Stitches. But Stitches found Nexus. In Nexus, everyone has to play with Stitches. So much playtime makes Stitches hungry.
Team Freedom has got to figure something out here in their series versus Team 8, or this is it, and we will have the expected of Team 8 versus Gale Force Esports. What's left in the bag, guys? Do they change things up? Do they try to pick Battleground? Start with you.
Go first pick, focus on the big question mark heroes, then proceed to pick comfort, or at least team fight oriented, hyper aggressive. I want to see Freedom at least go out with a bang, team fighting. I don't want this passive play. I would rather Toronto, I don't care. Just at least fight them to the death.
Cawthon, I hear you have a replay for us.
Do I?
Oh.
Yeah, I absolutely do. Let's look. Oh, okay, this one. Yes, I do have a replay. Okay, so the great thing here is we get Gust used right off the bat. So they're going aggro here. They're trying to secure a kill with the Gust. Nobody's in real big danger, but the big part of this comes after the D-Shield is used here. You'll see the ley line go out to trap the whole team as they try to run through this narrow choke. Now look at Diablo get in position and just punch the beak right off this bird. He is done. And they set that up multiple times through the game where Diablo is just in the prime position to land that smack and annihilate somebody off the ley line.
So you did see there were times early on at least where Freedom were trying to bring in that aggression. Is that what you would like to see? Any different change than what Dread has brought up?
Well, I mean, they're going to have to mix it up. I think that Teammate has shown that they're not going to be victims of Freedom's passive play anymore. Yeah. And that's one great thing about today is that after we saw Freedom dominate the game through inactivity, yesterday, the fact that Teammate is showing that, no, this is actually like not going to work the way that we play the game has been great. So now we need to see Freedom make that adjustment.
We have a treat for you guys, as well as me, because you guys at home have been tweeting using the hashtag HGC, and we want to continue to hear from you because these playoffs have been awesome. So let's read that tweet.
Gilly, I heard you have a tweet for us.
Do I? Can I be heels? Watching Teammate Hots dance all over Team Freedom GG right now is incredible. Their technical execution is on point. Capital point. Hashtag HGC. Agreed. Yeah. That was a smooth, clean, perfect, whatever you want to call it game.
Whatever you want to call it game.
Yeah, some fancy feet on Diablo, just dancing right on through those portals. Anytime anyone was in the slightest danger, they were just whisked away across the map, given a D shield on a 5-second cooldown, and back into the fight.
How about that top shrine fight?
Yeah, that one for me was the big, like, what's happening here? You know, when you just when you take a 5-man roster and you take another one, you imagine generally there's like 5 different ways team fights will start in general, and not a single one was like, oh yeah, it lasts about 10 minutes, and then halfway through the fight, a miracle portal from Medivh, and everybody just survives. I don't know. I have no idea what happened in that fight. I was just like, that was not what I'm used to seeing in Heroes of the Storm at all.
I like that you say whisk them away, because I think of them as the Terminator. Come with me if you want to live, because that's really what it seems like. You're going to come back through this portal, I'll give you a force of will, then we'll re-engage. Team Freedom sticking to what they know. They have picked first pick. Team 8 taking us to Tomb of the Spider Queen. Immediate thoughts for Tomb, you guys, for these teams?
Not a standout map for Freedom in terms of maybe strengths. It is one that is key to decision making in wave clear, and those are not maybe 2 things again that it does help in the fact that it's usually hard to execute a game early and quick and fast on Tomb. If your opponent fails to identify their win condition properly, it can make it to that 20 spike to where the Naz can maybe thrive. That is the only part about this that I view as a selling point for Freedom.
Yeah, I feel like Teammate picked this map just because they're so confident that they're just a tier, if not 2, above Freedom. That, yeah, okay, that makes complete sense. They picked this map, they just want a standard game where they're going to let their skill dictate the match. They ban out the Nazebo, figure that's the only thing that's been working for Freedom. Let's just get rid of it, play as standard as possible. They're not afraid of them in any way here. It's very standard opening picks, very standard map pick.
I actually wrote this down as Team Freedom picking it because they did pick it versus Superstars yesterday, and Freedom have been willing to play Diablo here, so we'll see if maybe
Now's
they're
the
going
rotation. If you're gonna, now it is. You pick the Diablo, you ban out the...
Well, they already got a noob, though.
I'd still take it. Like, you're worried about Varian and you're worried about Diablo. Last game you banned out the Varian, you experienced the Diablo. This game you're going to ban out the Diablo, you're probably going to experience the Varian. Like, you have to pick deny if you really think it's that big of a problem, or make up for it elsewhere.
So I keep calling for a Leo, and then it never happens, and I feel sad, but I think it's coming here from on the 3-4 for Teammate.
I was going to say I feel bad for you, but honestly, I don't. That happens to me a lot, actually. It'd be like, here's the Tyrael rotation, and just nothing.
There's another one that you did that for. I think it was Arthas.
Yeah, where it was like...
A whole lot of Arthas.
I've just... It's sad. It's a sad day. But yeah, no, I agree with you. I think Leo for Teammate could be really effective. I actually really enjoy any kind of dot, and not only dot, but this... It's not a true double support either that I really like Leo. It's usually with that pseudo support, because anytime you can not have your direct support aiding his survivability, suddenly he goes from like, I'm already a problem, to like, you actually have to answer to me, especially post 20.
I saw that hand tap. We danced in NA during it.
Teammate is on to Freedom's tricks, expecting the double support and all-in Vola comp, and they're just going to nip that in the bud there. See if Freedom continues to commit to an all-in Vola comp, even though the Uther has been taken away. There has been some success with double supports of the like TAS and EU. We've seen it on this map, as it does bring some wave clear as well.
Oh yeah.
Vola is a hyper carry, so it's something that could be a possibility. It's definitely fallen off in NA, but if there's ever a time to make a resurgence.
Yeah, I think it actually would be really good. We got the Leo!
We're there, boys. Leo finally making an appearance. Love Leo on this map.
Dibbles on the backside. No surprise there. We've got ourselves the Easy Bake Oven. Let's go.
Cannot wait for more Justing Diablo play.
Actually,
that last game was awesome.
It doesn't have to be, but I really hope it is.
What do you mean?
The Easy Bake Oven in this game. We could see APOC. That's going to be lame. It's got to be Lightning Breath.
Could be for the combo. I would say Uther off the board, and the fact that Ariel's Aegis, if that's what she picks, kind of self-wombos into the APOC. APOC's still very likely.
Yeah.
Well, Diablo is definitely scary here. They've shown how strong the re-engage is with Medivh, and now possibly with an APOC off of that ley line as well. Also, one thing to keep in mind on this map is that Diablo's level 1 talent, where he gets increased regeneration from globes, is extremely effective on this map, so look for him to possibly take that. And will make him into a trading monster, as he will just go in and soak damage, ammo shots, and heal it right back up from globes on the rotation.
So Freedom backing out, going with the triple warrior, pseudo-supporting cross-supporting at least between the Tyrael Zarya to help the Ariel and the Vala. Kicking it old school.
Classic to pick Chromie on Tomb versus Ariel solo support.
Yeah, I would have much rather see the Tassadar from them.
From Freedom?
From Freedom, yeah. So in the trio, I mean, I was talking about with you the other day. Like, I know that Tass obviously got a blatant nerf, but the fact that he went from first pick, first ban to like just non-existent is mind-boggling. He has still got insane amount of wave clear that he contributes. He still is one of the best pseudo supports because he doesn't have a bad map, right? Tass rose, depending on what era of meta you're looking at, a lot of the time because of his wave clear. And so on maps like Dragonshire and Tomb, he not only could survive and help your 4-man win always because the wave clear and survivability, it was just so very good. So I would have liked to see that here because, again, it's a wave clear map. They go with the Zarya instead, with the Tyrael instead. None of those do anything to the 4-man whatsoever. And it just, I feel like it's just, I understand the thought process, but it feels like it was halfway committing once more. And at this point, Freedom can't hold anything.
Yeah, there's no half commits when you're down at 2 games in this best of 5. Cawthon, do you agree? Do you like the Zarya over Tassadar, or would you have liked to see Tassadar?
I do not like Freedom's draft here. They committed too hard to Avala, too hard to early game. They need to get damage done with this early game composition. However, they walked straight into a Chromie comp, extremely dominant early game on this map. No way to punish her while those walls are up. I think that all the early game aggression that Zarya and Vala was supposed to give them is going to be turned right back around on them by that Chromie.
Well, can Team Freedom sustain and get a win, or will they be done in playoffs? We'll find out now, heading into Tomb of the Spider Queen.
This could be it. Team 8 is 1 game away from going up against Gale Force Esports tomorrow to figure out which team will be the second representative for North America at the mid-season brawl, and it's all going to be with a very comfortable prismaticism on Chromie. Freedom has got to be scared.
Freedom exceeded so many expectations by being able to take out B-Step and Superstars yesterday. They had the momentum going, but as we talked about, the momentum gets stopped when you have to wait to the next day to be able to fight. Team 8 had time to research the drafts, to see what Team Freedom was bringing to the table. And Freedom have brought some different things to these drafts, but so far, Team 8 looks to have everything at their disposal to stop Team Freedom's momentum.
And, you know, it's not like Team 8 has come out with these unheard of drafts from them. These are very Team 8 drafts. So it again brings a bit of the question, you know, if Freedom was banking on this was their most studied team, the one that they have prepped absolutely the most for being traditional compositions out of Team 8, it doesn't feel like it, at least not yet. But we'll see if this version of this composition, maybe it's better than the last. Actually, I'm pretty confident it's just not. Yeah, that was unrealistic optimism I was trying to throw out there.
It's all right to be optimistic. I would love to get more games out of this series. Freedom believes that this is their answer, this tanky, protect the Vala, let Nasmus pop off, as Team 8 even called it.
As the children say, you could say Nasmus was popping off.
That's the popular thing to say these days?
Yeah.
Got it.
I think it is. The stall out here, pressure up on mid. Chromie's trying to delay. This is exactly what Cawthon was talking about. Chromie is essentially, much like we learned through Gelf. Oh, nice stun there. The flip over. Nasmus survives. But that is not a comfortable amount of HP to be walking away from an initiation early on. But as I was saying, after Gale Force's Zagara breakout with the Chromie, we quickly learned that North America's kind of got this Chromie anti-siege thought process here. It just stops tri-lanes so very well.
And let's remember that there's a lot riding on Nasmus as Vala, not only as the primary damage dealer for the team, but as the primary way that Ariel can get heals. You're cracking up at some
that tweet, man. It's too good. It's like, It's perfect. You know, with Noble S going to the Muradin, it's just like, yeah, there's about 0% chance I would ever want to face that.
Yeah.
And then going with Justin there on the Diablo, I completely agree. This guy is one of the few Diablos that seems to make an argument for the hero.
Like I said, Vala is the primary way that the team gets heals, gets energy for Ariel. She has some other hope targets. We've seen already some focus on putting that on Dansky when Nasmus is low, but ideally you would like to have Vala with that. And that's why we've seen Chromie so heavily commit to damaging Vala to try to make her low so that she can't be able to give Ariel that energy. And so far, Prismaticism has been doing an awesome job of that.
That is a really interesting conundrum that in the world of supporting, Ariel essentially is not the target. It's the hope target because she's legitimately dependent on somebody else. They become more valuable than her, which is rare to say. Typically, unless you're Uther, especially post 20, you have debatably the most important health bar on the team.
And when you're a Vala that has this much focus on you in a draft, you would like to be playing far more aggressively, right? You want to be out further up, knowing that your team can keep you safe. But you're relying a lot on a Nubarak to be able to do that. Maybe once you have Expulsion Zone 2, now Zarya has the speed shield, so that will help at 4. But even with that, you look at the composition that Teammate has with things like Roots, and especially with Diablo, who again has From the Shadows. Nasmus is going to have to be playing out of his mind. His positioning has to be solid. He has to try to make sure he has his stacks up so that he gets more movement speed. And the whole team is going to be revolving around him, but it will be a super hard challenge for Team Freedom to rely on that.
One thing Freedom does have going for them, though, with the Chromie into the Ariel, they have at least a sanctification opportunity to punish, but they have a lot of other routes. Chromie shouldn't be. I'm not going to say that she won't be, but she should not be a problem the same way she normally is. Her early game defenses obviously are rather effective, but where she should fall off in this game is her blow-up. And that's solely based on the fact that an Nubarak and Tyrael exists on the opposite side. It's not the Aegis that should be forced. I feel like not only do you have Sanctification, but I would rather see either the Cocoon all in onto the Chromie if she doesn't go Slowing Sands. Like, I feel like they have so much counter CC that you have to move into the Slowing Sands. And if you don't, pretty much get infinite punish. It's
almost certain that Prismaticism is going into Slowing Sands. I don't think we've seen him take Temporal Loop. It's very rare, but also he already has picked Mobius Loop. That's usually the combo that he pairs with Slowing Sands, and there he picks it up.
I was just thinking, you know, if they try to, you know, because the first time Chromie popped up was due to the lack of cleanse, and I'm just like,
right.
You know, if you at any point in this game try and make that happen, I was just like, there's no world. You Cocoon, a Judgment, anything to just be like, well, we're up in Chromie's face now. So they have the Slowing Sands, and against the triple melee, it's going to be really hard to move through that thing. Nice portal. Adjusting from the shadows. The flip over, follow up.
Sands and Roots are there too, but a nice Impale hits multiple members of teammates.
Poor man.
Just 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, I was just like, Jesus, the stars aligned there for that knockup, but so we managed to survive a Web Weaver's phase. This is just such an interesting beginning part to this game because, you know, the fact that Teammate hasn't gotten a pick yet with this portal play on a map that the lanes are close with, you know, it's just not working out the same way it has in the past few games. But does that change the way the team fights play out?
Well, this might be the first pick, but the rest of the team not quite there just yet. And now Justin has to use his charge to get into position for the portal.
Dude. Oh, Dansky went to body block off of the portal, but then Justin just goes, nope, here's a shadow charge, and thanks for the free portal entrance. I never even thought about that. Diablo legitimately can't be body blocked off unless you have like 3 bodies on the turn-in point. Or, excuse me, the portal point. Portal laid down, no Tenna yet.
Listing's found Nasmus, but a shield again to not only keep Nasmus safe from damage, but to give the movement speed for Nasmus to move back. The Web Weavers, meanwhile, for Team Freedom have been doing their thing. It's been cleared out of 2 of the lanes. This mid is the final one remaining. There's the flip from Justin. Twilight Dream follow-up, and the Leyline Seal. Apocalypse.
And 1 member already falling here. Collusion is only quickly going to fall. Even the Sank dropped, it's just not worth I doubt Ariel survives this, even the Entomb afterwards.
So well done from Team 8. Entomb after that, and then dive back in from Justing. Another charge, another Team Freedom death.
It's just when does it stop? Team 8 is straight up just wrecking Freedom in this series. It's gotten to the point where I just don't even see how they approach a team fight differently. I mean, Freedom isn't kind of throwing it out and accepting that kicking it old school is not working anymore, but it's still just crazy to me how unclose these fights are. This is pre-10, so it was a little unfair at first, but even the fact that Insomnia is willing to risk the sanctification, to me shows a little bit of desperation in the mentality here of this squad, because you lose Zarya immediately and you haven't even chosen your heroics for everybody on your squad, probably not going to win the fight.
No, I agree. But the desperation plays are really all that Freedom has at this point.
You're right.
They've got to make something happen. They're already getting behind. They've had a Web Weaver phase, and yet their structures are the ones that have taken more damage. It's just so difficult versus what Team 8 has. Team 8 has these tried and true heroes that they put together in compositions that have a ridiculous amount of synergy. Medivh plus Diablo, we've seen that ridiculousness. Now you saw the Diablo Entomb too. They have Leyline Seal after that. They have so much that they can do with their heroes that they like. At least Nasmus vaulted and the Leyline Seal did not connect. We've got a Cocoon to maybe turn things around for Team Freedom.
But they've got to make a play off of this Cocoon. You just lost the best heroic that exists on the side of Team 8, and you end up using one of your own. Nothing gained. Team 8 was able to get the disengage. But Freedom has enough to force a turn in. Tyrael sneaking up to get one of himself. Justin goes in, uses the overpower, and we have a Web Weaver phase now for Freedom.
No Leyline Seal, but there's still things like Apocalypse, like Entomb, if they can bait people in. There's the Entomb. Justin charges in. Immediate Crystal Aegis, but Apocalypse after the fact. Twilight Dream only catches a Noob. Nasmus got back in time, but still, a Noob gets a shield at the last second, but it's just not enough to save his life.
They've already got the pick, and now it's going to be very easy for Team 8 to be able to deal with these Web Weavers. Mid's already going to be easy to just rid of. Bottom is being attended to by Leoric, and top's now the next focus for the 4-man. Freedom may want to try and force Insomnia. That's not the side of the wall you want to be on, pal. He found the right side. He got back there. Team 8, though, is quickly going to make it their own. The portal, no stun.
3-man Leyline Seal so far. Rite of Vengeance zoning and Cocoon to zone off all of Team 8 away from this. Yoda was still rotating up to the rest of the team.
Expulsion zone. Have I ever told you how much I hate Medivh?
That's the real fun police.
All right, so now another engage attempt. No Entomb dropped. 1 second before the Web Weavers come up. Conveniently, teammates got themselves the turn-in, not for Freedom.
Only a few gems necessary to complete the turn-in for Team 8, who are sitting at 13. But Freedom isn't far behind at all. Hopefully they can deal with these Web Weavers in a short order and then get back out for another team fight.
With bottom already prepped with this Web Weaver phase, what is the most optimal route? Is probably just keep them busy through top. We'll see where Team 8 wants to move with this. This is one of those Web Weaver phases where it's actually not as straightforward as it seems. Mid's already pretty easy to deal with, but again, at least Team 8's keeping all the members here. That's a lot of damage going on to Zugrug, forcing him to burrow. There's a nice route onto Collusion. Wraith walk out on Yoda.
Talk about keeping him busy. Bottom's doing a great job. Top starting it Siege 2. 1 fort taken out, and as the Team Freedom steps back, Team 8 gets the rest of 1 fort catches Ariel.
Insane. That was actually insane, the range on that thing. Oh man, Apoc's gonna be used. Stun ends up landing up onto 2. There's another stun coming out from Justin. You know, a bit of anti-synergy there in communication, but it doesn't matter. Zarya is down. Seriously, did you see? He was legitimately, like, the coding was freaking out on it. That was like max range. He was body blocked off of the wall for a second there while he's mounted, and he's squirming back and forth, and suddenly an Entomb was created. That was max range. I've never seen an Entomb that far in my life. I don't think it can get any farther.
It was it was a situation where you would think that you would be safe. Collusion would think he would be safe, but with playing against a portal in the range of that, the range of this, too, just you're never safe. Nowhere is safe. At least the team keeps from having any more staggered deaths for now, but this is a 2-level lead for Teammate. They have 16 off of this Web Weaver phase. There's a boss possible. There are mercenary camps possible. There's even another turn-in possible for Teammate.
You could say, Gilly, anything is possible if you believe in Team 8 here. They have got the world ahead of them, even shutting out and kills so far in this game like they did in the last. They've got themselves the Web Weavers. It's just Freedom at best here loses 1 keep and catches up to 16, and then maybe rebuttals a fight onto boss with Holy Ground Sanctification.
And at worst,
lose the game. About 2 picks. If Tyrael or Ariel, Ariel, and Nubarak, if 2 or 3 of those die in close succession, they could even end now.
There's the dive from Justing to start. We've got a Portal 2 on the other side. So far, none of the heroics for Teammate have been used. You're going to be happy to get this keep, keeping the Web Weaver alive as long as they can. Leoric is not here with the rest of the team, focusing on getting as many keeps as they can.
There's
Devastating
one.
charge. Crystal Aegis has to be used to keep Zugrug alive. He burrow charges away. Buds takes some damage from Nasmus.
And it looks like they are going to be just fine. Team 8 really wants this keep with the 16 talent tier advantage, and they're going to send Yoda up towards top. Not even going to need it. They're going to just slowly whittle away at it.
Chromie can poke for a long time with reaching through time.
There it is. So do they boss instantly after this? That was the 16 into the boss I was talking about. They do not. They're going to rotate mid instead, keep the pressure up. So remember how we've been talking so much about what you look to do as a team, keeping pressure, things like that. This is the one thing. Teammate, rather than backing out, taking a boss, and taking the 16-on-16 fight with a 13-minute boss that's not going to end the game, they would rather keep pressure on the map. This is what I expected not to work today for Freedom, because they've been waiting on that 20, and no team was just like, well, what if we're always getting something when we have a lead? It's nice to see this here out of Team 8.
Yeah, instead of looking for using the last little bit of their 16 advantage, they say, we have a continued advantage and we have another possible talent tier where we can be ahead, so much so over Team Freedom that we win the game off of that one. There was the double stun for Zugrug, just trying to get away from Justing, who's been on his case constantly. Insomnia's found Buds. Justing's there to be the zoning to get his Malfurion away.
Root on the Tyrael. They decided they didn't want to take that initiation, though. Frost shot's coming out from Nasmus. Eats 1 Q out of Chromie. Second guess is the positioning. 25 gems still available for Team 8. Not enough to get themselves the turn-in, but there are enough for Freedom.
Freedom needs time in this game now, but they don't want to allow Team 8 to get to 20 either, so they need to make sure that they can get a fight on even footing, but they're losing so much in health. Collusion having trouble having the hope. Nasmus going in now to deliver it.
Dansky almost falling. It's just their health bars are so low, now they're just going to push even farther. You know, Team 8 doesn't need to turn in. There it is.
Follow up, APOC is there. Sanctification from Insomnia is beautiful to help the team, though.
They end up surviving for now, but it's going to be force Buds into an Ice Block Twilight Dream, but Zugrug taking damage. He hits a trap. Nobody's there to keep him up except Aegis in max range. Gets it. There is the AoE heal, and Justing now eating a Force of Will, getting that reabsorption. He heals up, but then dies. Now that is a silver lining for Freedom, but we have to remember, those were souls. The only person to die this late in the game, the only kill Freedom managed to get, is already back up. They
at least reset the souls, though, so it'll take Justing a little bit of time to build those back up. Chromie continuing to stop Nasmus from being able to turn in. Zugrug again as low as Justing shows back up to the party. Glaurung takes out Vala at the turn-in point as Red Web Weavers are summoned.
Don't know how to tell you this, but 3 catapults are already on the core as well.
I think you figured out how to tell me that. It's at 90% and falling at Team Freedom. Team 8 keeping Freedom here. Finally, Zugrug shows up.
Shows up with 79% damage already done here to the core with 2 members down for another 30 seconds. Teammate doesn't afraid of your web weavers. They're looking to end this and, more importantly, move on to face Galeforce Esports tomorrow.
Justin finds Collusion, who aegises himself and blows up as it comes down. The core is falling at 60%. No Vala for 8 seconds, no Zarya for 16. It's all on 2 members, the 2 warriors of Team Freedom, and it won't be enough. Team 8 has defeated Team Freedom solidly 3-0 to face Galeforce tomorrow.
And the winner of that series tomorrow between Team 8 and Galeforce Esports decides again who is the North American representative, the second North American representative at the midseason brawl, right behind this dude. Tempo Storm at that first seed in North America.
Man, Cawthon, Team 8 looked good today.
Putting on a clinic. If there has ever been a time you wanted to see what happens when a team is completely like psychologically pressured, that was that game. Freedom just fell apart throughout the course of the game from the pressure put on by Diablo. But it wasn't just the Diablo. It was a combination of Diablo with the Medivh and the Leoric. You could see how they were so hesitant in their positioning. They would have people step up, and they'd be like, well, okay, so I have to position around the Diablo charge. He doesn't get me into a wall. And then they would remember, oh, wait, he could portal behind me. I have to move over here now because I might get portal behind me, punch me into this. And then Leo just steps up with the cage match, and he puts the Entomb down. Diablo comes flying in, just punches him right into the wall. There was nowhere that was safe. Everywhere that they tried to step up, you could see the pressure of the previous engages causing their positioning to be completely off as they wandered around at random angles, afraid of every wall and every Entomb that could possibly be dropped on them.
What lessons now does Galeforce Esports take away seeing this series? Obviously, they didn't get to see too much in the way of drafts, but any lessons to be learned from this?
I actually don't think that Teammates showed too much that would surprise Galeforce, which is, it's great for Teammate. Teammate did the things extremely well. They executed it beyond even a level that I think that myself and Galeforce expected. But we all know that they play these styles extremely well. So the question is more so, how does Galeforce interrupt what Teammate does best? Because Teammate is almost unstoppable when they get their best comps on their best maps and run those.
They do seem to be on a tear. Let's check in with Justin from Team 8 now. After a solid 3-0 victory over Freedom. Hey, Justin, congratulations. When I talked to you earlier, you guys weren't expecting Freedom. How surprised were you to see them be able to beat B-Step and Superstars yesterday?
I mean, it's a little surprising, but it wasn't too surprising because I feel like Freedom's been doing better lately, and Superstars and B-Step are in a bit of a slump. I didn't really expect B-Step to lose, though, with the boot camp.
Yeah, that was unexpected for us, too. Dred?
I honestly don't really have any questions other than just how are you guys feeling for tomorrow? You know, that is, I feel like today you guys obviously, you knew your opponent, you felt pretty confident going into it. Tomorrow is where, for you guys, I feel like the trial starts to begin. So what are you guys feeling going into that?
I definitely agree with that. I think tomorrow's going to be a lot higher stress situation than today was. We're not really too worried about today. We all pretty much figured we'd win pretty clean. I think I'm feeling pretty good about tomorrow, and I think the rest of the team is too. I think as long as we show up like we did today, then we'll be fine.
Awesome.
Cawthon?
Hey, congratulations, dude. I'm not surprised by the result, but I was impressed at the execution. It looked very crisp, very clean today. I just want to say, from the bottom of my heart and probably all the NA viewers, thank you for showing us how to punish a team that just wants to play for the late game. The way that you guys got in there and made them afraid to step anywhere on the map in Game 2 and 3 without getting punished, it was a joy to see after yesterday's games in NA.
Appreciate that. Thanks.
Justin, what is the one thing you guys will be keeping in mind as you prepare to face Galeforce Esports tomorrow?
Probably mostly just like specific draft things towards them, just like their favorite heroes, and just focusing on drafts that can punish really hard. That's probably the goal.
Awesome. Well, good luck tomorrow. Excited to see that match. Shout-outs before you go?
Just shout-outs to my team and all the people who follow Teammate and support us. Really appreciate it. That's pretty much it.
Nice. Congrats again. Bye.
Thank you. Thanks.
The Ron Wall.
Every time.
The hero we need.
It's either Mickey Sheets or Ron Wall.
Any wall around Justin is something to be feared.
Yes.
That was a good one.
So good.
How is it?